Over the past several years, more than 24 North Texas teenagers have died from overdosing on heroin.
Doctors are worried the numbers will increase before heroin stops being the new drug of choice among teenagers. Tonight, Tracy Rowlett and our News 8 crews are on assignment examining heroin use in our area. Tracy?
John, I'm at the emergency room of the Baylor Medical Center at Irving tonight. And this is one of the facilities, and there are many of them in North Texas who have treated teenagers who have suffered from heroin overdoses. Tonight, Channel 8's Robert Riggs has the story of a Plano couple who rushed their child to an emergency room for help, and what follows may touch your heart.
18-year-old Jason Bland was just starting to see life through his friendly baby blue eyes. In his Plano senior class picture, Jason looks like the kid next door, the most unlikely teenager to lose his life to heroin.
You know, Jason had pretty much everything to live for. I mean, his youth, his, going to finish school, getting ready to go to college. Just a moment mistake can ruin your whole life.
Linda and Tom Bland moved to Plano from rural Ohio in 1993 with their only child of a 21-year marriage. Plano had a reputation for family values and had been recognized as one of the safest cities in America. Tom works as a mid-level manager at JCPenney's headquarters. The couple met 23 years ago while working together at the company. The Blands settled in a middle-class neighborhood. Around the corner at their church, Linda now works as the secretary.
It can happen to anybody at any time. I don't know how we thought Jason talked to us, and we thought we were aware of what was going on, but
Jason was the picture of happiness on the family's spring break vacation and later in his prom tux. But 5 months later, on Saturday, September 27th, 1997, heroin changed his life forever.
We had plans that day to get up early and help another family from church move. I was in the kitchen making coffee, and I heard Jason's alarm going off.
Tom Bland also heard an unusual loud snoring coming from Jason's room.
I realized at that point, after a number of attempts to try and awake him, that he wasn't going to wake up, and something was desperately wrong.
Jason arrived at the emergency room near death in a heroin-induced coma.
Turning blue, disoriented. How's he bagging? Is he bagging easy?
Dr. Larry Alexander was on duty. Drug overdoses were common during his inner-city residency, but now Alexander was treating heroin overdoses in what was supposed to be a quiet suburban hospital.
I'm losing him here.
Alexander counted as many as 70 overdoses like Jason coming into the Plano Medical Center in 14 months. Heroin shuts off the breathing control center in the brain. It causes nausea while the victim is in a deep sleep.
Okay, we're in. Inflate. And because the gag reflex doesn't work well when you're on a narcotic, all of the vomit goes into the lungs, and you basically drowned in your own vomit. And that's how most of these kids died. Let me bag. You get a blood gas for me.
Jason miraculously regained consciousness after 5 days in the coma. But then a massive infection caused by the overdose attacked every organ in his body.
As we began to say the Lord's Prayer over Jason, he joined us in a whispered voice, and he slowed down and he recited the entire Lord's Prayer with us. Didn't know at the time that those would be the last words that we heard Jason speak.
I know.
Keep trying. Those are going to be words, buddy. Keep trying. Going to be words.
Jason lived, but the heroin overdose shut off oxygen to his brain. Jason suffered severe damage. He recently turned 19 in a nursing home.
I get the sensation that he's trapped. He's trapped inside. He knows what he wants to say. He has feelings. He just can't get the words out. And that's the most frustrating thing to see going on.
Jason overdosed on Mexican black tar heroin called Chiva. It's so pure that one speck the size of a grain of salt can kill you.
I'd never heard of it before, as being heroin. I've heard of Chiva, but I hadn't heard Chiva's heroin. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make the connection.
Drug dealers grind Mexican black tar heroin into powder, haphazardly mix it with antihistamines and capsules to prevent heroin's telltale runny nose, and push it as chiva to be snorted, not injected, without the stigma of needles.
Now all of a sudden heroin is presented in a different form and there's not that taboo. And it feels so wonderful.
And it is cheap, $5 to $10 a capsule.
Hey, Jace, let's try and lift your hip, okay?
You hold your head up.
The Blands have learned that Jason was at a party where heroin capsules were freely passed around.
Oh, good job. That was good. Oh, that makes you tired.
Try that again, buddy.
Like many of the overdose victims, Jason was a good kid caught in a bad situation.
A week or two before this happened, Jason, and we had conversations with Jason about what he knew about heroin in his circle of friends or influence, and, you know, we got all the right answers.
He said, I'm not stupid. I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was all the things we wanted to hear, yeah.
See you swallow.
Jason's parents use a sponge stick to coax him into swallowing. Until he can develop a gag reflex, Jason will remain on feeding tubes.
Swallow. Good
There you
job.
go. Good job.
That's one.
Progress has been slow but encouraging. Funny stories about his dog, Bob, recently brought the first smile to his face.
Yeah, good smile, buddy.
Jason Bland's parents live day to day, not knowing if their son will ever be able to come home, wondering how they could have done so many right things in their quiet lives and how heroin made things go so terribly wrong.
I know, it's hard. It's okay.
Robert Riggs, Channel 8 News.
Now, tomorrow night, Robert Riggs will show us how Plano police, together